good. 3, 2, 1, go. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Android App Addicts podcast, the podcast where we talk about Android apps, where we talk about phones, where we talk about Amazon, where we talk about all kinds of stuff. But the title is too long to say the all kinds of stuff podcast. So welcome to the Android App Addicts podcast. My name is Mark. I am your humble host, and I'm joined this week by the people you're really here to hear from, and that is the door-to-door geek, Steve McLaughlin, and the executive, Eric Ardini. Hello, gentlemen.
Hello, Mark. How's it going?
You know, I can't complain. Well, I could complain, but nobody likes a whiner, so I'm good.
Hello, Mark. I can complain. I had to pay a deductible to pick up my car, even though I got hit in the rear end.
What?
I flipped and freaked out. I've never heard something so absurd. And what they failed to mention, and they only mentioned after I got really hot with them on the phone, was, well, there was an option in the beginning of this process where you could have said to us not to send your claims adjuster out to the vehicle and look at it and provide you with a check, but instead have the other party do that.
When the one guy about a year ago hit both of my cars parked out in front of my house, I had to pay a $500 deductible to get my car fixed. But then, like 4 or 5 months later, I ended up getting a check from his insurance company for the deductible. Something had to process. So will you get yours back?
I will, but I also said, and can I ask, what kind of interest am I going to get back as well for my investment in this process that is unneeded, unnecessary, and I'm unwilling to actually do? Which, of course, they could not answer me. So they're going to make lots of money off of my $250 until they give it back to me. Needless to say, I'm going to be shopping for another insurance company.
Let's name it and shame it. Who is the insurance company?
Peninsula.
Okay.
And I have no problem with saying I badgered them and asked them, can you even spell the 2 words customer service? Because I don't think you can. Because you are absolutely, because you're absolutely not providing it.
Yeah, there's no excuse for that. When the other insurance, the moment that company accepts blame, you're out. You're done. There's no excuse for your insurance company to bill you a processing fee or anything because the other company has accepted blame.
Right. Well, hold on, Mark. It doesn't really matter. They've said that I say it was somebody else's fault. They say it doesn't matter if the other people say it was their fault. They say it doesn't matter if the police officer says it was their fault. And it doesn't matter that I live in a state where when I'm hitting the rear end, by default, it's not my fault.
Exactly.
But they said none of that matters. So I got a little bit hot. And then the first day our car was in the shop, we optioned to drive our other vehicle, which we immediately had to put into the shop because the brakes started making bad noises and we got caught in a 4-hour traffic jam on I-95 because there was a fatal accident and the car started overheating our van. So $700 later, we have the van back.
Nice.
And to tip off this week, my oldest son got strep throat. So,
man,
I should have taken off. That's all I got to say. I should have taken off this week.
I always say every time I drive my wife's car, it costs me money. You know, for whatever reason, I realize she didn't get the inspection done or the tires are bald or she hasn't had an oil change in the last 9,000 miles. Every time I drive her van, it costs me money. So I just stopped driving it.
Good bid. And I'll say it did not help at all that when my wife was saying how, this costs money, that costs money, this went wrong, that went wrong. I said to her, well, there is one bright spot. And she said, what's that? I said, well, we have proof now that we're not living in a dream and everything's perfect because things went wrong. We're in the real life still. She didn't really find too much comfort in that.
So the top is still spinning in the cupboard.
Yes, very much so. I hope you had a better week there, Mark.
I had a pretty decent week. It's rained a lot. I live in Wetlanta, but otherwise it's been fine. I have had a week to live with my Moto X. I've got to get over saying Nexus. I've been saying Nexus for like 7 years. So I wanted to come back and give a little bit of a another review of it. I just, after a week, I obviously don't know everything about it, but my conclusion is this is a really solid device, good processor, good performance. It feels good. It handles well. It's passed the drop test a couple of times, not intentionally. And the battery life is exceptional as long as you don't turn it on. Otherwise, the battery is amazing. The problem, and I've complained about it before, is they have this great device and they've got a big battery and it's amazing, and they saddled it with a quad HD screen that as soon as you turn it on, the battery meter just starts tick 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 tick. You can almost watch it go down.
Two things they did wrong was, to me, they put too high resolution of a screen in that phone, but also this is the first Moto X, I believe, that's not a AMOLED, where when something is jet black, it doesn't turn on any of those pixels, where now, no matter what, it turns on every pixel.
Yeah, the problem with AMOLED tends to be burn-in, and they're more expensive to make. So I think they used burn-in to couch the fact that they're saving money by putting an IPS screen in. The screen is beautiful. I just don't need it. I don't need 4,000 pixels on a 5-inch display. I don't need that. And it ruins an otherwise outstanding device. Ruins is too strong a word. It makes a 10 into an 8. This phone could be a 10, but instead it's an 8.
So do you need 3,999?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
1080p is fine. In fact, 720p is fine on a phone. It really is.
Does that have a removable battery at all or anything like that?
It does not. You can't even take the case off.
No,
Okay.
you need a heat gun, hair dryer, heat source to remove the back without destroying the device.
So
But one of
maybe
the
you
cool
could get
features,
a battery case for it.
I could, yeah. See, I shouldn't have to. That's the point.
Yeah.
Their design decisions is forcing me to change the way I use my phone or not use it. That's the ridiculous thing. It's a great phone until you start to use it. So when it's sitting off to the side and I'm listening to podcasts, I can do that all day long. And I get 14, 15 hours of battery life easy. But as soon as I pick it up and look at it, start browsing the web or doing anything else, it's gone. I'm lucky to get 9 hours out of it. If I'm, checking emails, doing stuff like that. Now it does have the much vaunted turbo charging, which is a smart charger that can push 12 volts if it's really dead, 9 volts if it's kind of medium, and then back down to 5 volts. And that's great. In 15 minutes, you can go to 80% charge. So that's a compensation, except that only happens if you're using their special charger. I can't just plug it into a USB port on the laptop and call it good.
Right. And your battery has to be below 15%?
I'm not sure what the numbers are, but there's a window there where it's super turbo if it's really low, and then it's that mid-range, that 9 volt if it's in the mid-range, and then it trickle charges. So either wherever you are, it jumps you to 80% as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, everything about that phone I was sold on when I first saw it, except the battery.
Have you played with the power settings at all? Just to like energy saver modes?
I haven't. Well,
like that?
Marshmallow is supposed to fix a lot of those issues, but right now, no, I haven't tweaked any of those things. It's really overkill in so many areas. The screen is so bright that I keep it on about 50% brightness just to be comfortable.
Yeah.
And it's just really well engineered, over engineered in so many ways, except the dang battery. I would happily accept this being 3 or 4 ounces heavier than it is, and it's only like 6 ounces. I would go to 10. Increase it by 50% if the battery would get me 15 hours.
Yeah, and I'll say I firmly believe we are 5 years past the point where people will hold up their phone and say, "Look, my phone's thinner."
Yeah.
I really don't think people care about that anymore.
Yeah.
Yet phone manufacturers still, I think, use it as a driving factor.
It's more about weight in the breast pocket, how heavy it is it, and how it feels in the hand. Those are the things that matter. And sometimes a thicker phone feels better.
Yeah. Well, did I ever tell you the phone I was entertaining the idea of getting, Mark?
I don't think you were.
It is a Oppo R7 Plus.
I've heard of it.
It is a true 6-inch phone with a 4,000 milliamp battery, where if you have to recharge that battery before you go to bed, you have serious habitual problems. months kind of thing. So I was really tempted to get that because I've never had a phone since my old flip phone that I didn't have to worry about charging during a day. And I wanted to experience that at least once. So that's the phone I've been thinking about getting.
Yeah. So this thing, I charge it on the way to work and I charge it on the way home from work, which is, it's not terrible. I feel like such a, first world problems, but it's 2015. They promised me flying cars by now, and they can't even give me a phone that'll last all day.
They used to.
Exactly. My Nokia back in the day would go a week and a half on a charge.
Right.
Well, speaking of things with a good charge, I will say, Mark, my Jide Ultra Remix tablet Microsoft 2 Surface clone, that's a lot of words, is getting, in my humble opinion, phenomenal battery.
Is that a 15-inch screen?
No, it's a 10.
10. Okay. Looks big on the camera.
Well, I got to put it so everyone can see it. It does have the metal keyboard, does have the SD card slot here in the back, exact same connectors as the Microsoft Surface.
And it clicks. And apparently that's all that Microsoft cares about.
Yeah. And
the whole marketing.
Yeah. And for a 8-hour business day kind of thing, out of regular usage, of course, I can't use it a complete solid straight 8 hours because I have meetings and I have to pay attention and I have to, write, so I use this for note taking, emails, and meetings. And I have a really hard time getting the battery under 70% during a typical work day.
That's really good. Is that an i3 or no? It's a Tegra or something in there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Tegra processor. I'm silly happy with the battery life in that thing, and it's $340, $350 right now on Amazon. I understand people who might balk at that number, but if you require a great battery and a desktop laptop like operating system experience with Android, you have no other choice. This is it.
So that's running a custom ROM for that device.
Basically, a custom ROM provided by the manufacturer of the tablet. As soon as I booted up the tablet, I had 3 updates pending, and they say that there is still more updates coming. They want to keep it up. Right now, I believe it's up to 5.1 Android.
Going back to that Oppo phone door, that looks like a really sweet phone.
It can be. I will say that it can be a really sweet phone. Now, here, we complain in the United States about not getting updates on our phones. In reality, if you look at the entire world, we get more updates per device than anywhere else in the world.
Yeah.
If you buy a Oppo device or a Xiaomi device or a Huawei device directly from them, you better consider yourself extremely lucky if you get one update. So if I do get the device, I have to be aware of what I see on the device is going to be probably the last factory supplied operating system for that device.
It's the Color OS, which looks like customized lollipop.
Yes.
And you'd have to get somebody in Europe to buy it for you.
Oh, I could just buy it overseas and get it shipped directly in.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I did mean to cut you off. Clearly I did, but I didn't mean to totally derail you about your other thing.
No.
Do you see yourself rooting and ramen that at some point ever?
No, I don't have a reason to. I don't need to tether off the device. And right now, there's nothing I can think of where I would need root permissions on the device. I'm using it in a very siloed use case, a la a Chromebook. I'm using it in the same kind of functionality where I open it up. There's only a few limited things I expect to be able to do, but I want it to do it well. And so far, so good.
Nice.
And what's the sticker price on that?
$349.
Which is fine. That's a good price.
Yeah, I mean, if you go get a $349 laptop, you're not going to have as much battery life. It won't probably last as long either, and it's going to be probably like a brick.
I'm looking for a larger tablet. I want to go with a 10-inch tablet, but I'm going to be using it for everything I use. I'm gaming on it. I'm going to be
You cannot do better for gaming than a Tegra processor.
That's true.
Period.
Yeah. It's interesting. And I had the original Surface. I loved the build quality and just using that device. It was nice for the short time I had it. It's one of the things I'm really glad I did not keep. Looking back, they gave up on Windows RT.
Yeah,
might be a possibility.
But Microsoft it's really hard to bet on that horse, and no matter whatever the horse is.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of Microsoft things that I really enjoyed they just dropped them and never even
went like the whole OneDrive thing, unlimited storage. Oh, never mind. Don't use it unlimitedly.
Yeah, you guys are using too much of this, man.
When we said unlimited, we didn't mean unlimited.
Right. I mean, that's like you go to a friend's house and say, hey, can I have something to drink? Oh, yeah, take as much as you want. And then 2 drinks later, they tell you to slow down.
Yeah.
That sounds like you've experienced that before.
No comment.
Sync and Go was my first Microsoft experience like that. That was the pre-podcast era where they made this thing that was basically like podcast RSS feeds, sort of. It would download to your Palm Pilot automatically, and then you just go and listen to it later. And they totally just let it go away, and then a year later, here comes podcasts.
At least Google never kills a product that people love.
Ever.
No, that's true. It must just be a big company thing.
All right, I have a couple of other things that I want to whine about as the show goes on. But before we get too far away from our stated goal of talking about apps, Eric, why don't you bring us an app tonight?
Okay. Tonight, I brought a group of apps that all revolve around VR and like Google cardboard headset type apps.
VR, you mean vehicular ransom?
Nope. I mean like virtual reality. This item here is the D-Scope Pro version 2. I would say I do recommend this for someone who would like to get into a cheap cardboard that works well, and they have a larger phone. This fits a Note 4 just fine.
You say cheap. How cheap?
This is $16.99 cheap.
That's fair.
For a piece of cardboard.
It comes mostly assembled. It and instead of having like a washer and some kind of thing, it actually has a physical button here. Well, not a physical button. It's basically a piece of metal wrapped around something. You press it down to engage your whatever you need to do, like your start button or whatever you need to press on a game or something. Other than that, I don't know. The lenses seem pretty high quality compared to my other cheap cardboard device I had. They seem nicer on this one. It actually works better than my ViewMaster VR. I'll tell you that. And so I played with it, and I found some apps for it. And the first one I'm going to bring is called Beaturret. And Beaturret is a lot of these VR games are just super, super simple. And this one would fall in that category, but it's kind of neat. It's a Tron-ish looking shooting game where it's kind of like you're on a turret of a tank, I guess, and you're shooting at squares with your laser beam. And of course, there's no video. But
why do you need a video?
Yeah,
use the video of imagination.
Now the thing, I had a problem with this game. I felt like I went through a level and I couldn't go farther, and I couldn't find any more squares to shoot, and it really kind of freaked me out. So I'm not sure exactly what's up with that. But
so is the button to shoot, or you just constantly nonstop shoot?
It's an endless shooter. Is that what we're going to call that?
Sure.
Where it's on turbo the whole time. Choo, 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 choo,
It is like a vector-based 3D breakout, I guess I'd say, with cubes all around you now. Do the cubes move in the air?
Yeah. Well, no. They're kind of in different lines. You rotate to your turret to get to them. I don't think they do. I don't think they moved. I could be wrong on that though, Dor.
Well, and I see different color squares. Are any of them like power-ups or anything?
There was some pink ones that exploded differently. Like I said, I had a hard time like going to the next level though. So, and that could be my gaming experience. It seems like I don't usually make it to the next level, so it's probably my fault that I didn't. I couldn't. It wasn't obvious why though that I didn't get there.
Okay. I mean, it looks cool. It is definitely Tron-like.
Did you put a link somewhere and I missed it?
I put
there it is.
Oh, they're in the chat. You see them? Oh, and okay, my next one is called, and I'm just going to do these rapid fire if you guys don't mind. I just got a few VR games I want to throw out there for people. This one is not free. This one's called Perfect Beach, and it could be free, honestly. It's nice though. It's a nice VR of a beach. You can point at your little radio and turn it on and off, and
Oh, you paid money for this?
yeah, just trying it out. It's my survey money, man.
Okay.
It's just it's a nice little VR experience. No, there are. It's not. I wouldn't
How
say
realistic is it?
no. Your feet. If you look down at your feet, it almost makes you want to throw up because they look like they're dead.
It looks like a scene out of Second Life or Open Sim.
Yes. Yeah, I would agree. It's not. Yeah, it's about that level. I just like having some of these cardboard apps just to show people a quick thing of how this can be without getting too crazy on them. Because I do have one coming up here in a second that's gonna be really crazy that I highly recommend. But here another one that I'm gonna just totally kind of recommend. And this one is a misnomer. It's called VR MacPan, which you would think is just like Pac-Man, but it's not. It's kind of close. Basically, you're running through the maze. Like the maze is horizontal, and you got to run through it. And there's ghosts and dots you have to chomp. You don't see yourself. You're the Pac-Man. But unfortunately, the ghosts are all just a different colored ball. They didn't take the time to render them as a ghost shape. So they're just like bigger versions of the things you have to eat to complete the level.
We call that lazy. And I'll say the Perfect Beach app was 99 cents.
Okay. Yeah. I didn't spend a lot on it, see?
Well, I didn't say spend a lot, but I would also, I'm also going to say, I would expect Teeny Media to not bring a thing called Perfect Beach VR and be rated E for everyone. I would have expected there to be something.
Oh, you're right. Good point, Nor. Yeah.
But now, don't take that as me disappointed because I'm not. I just, I was
I don't remember how I was feeling when I ordered that, so maybe I was thinking the same thing. I don't know.
This is a weird, like, space background thing to this one, but the maze is definitely just vector.
Do you have to physically move to interact with it?
You turn. You turn. You turn to turn.
Right, but you're always moving forward.
Yes. Yeah. It's an endless runner. Kind of like Pac-Man. You're always moving in Pac-Man. Well, I guess unless you run into a corner. I don't remember what happens when you run into a corner in this one. I'm not sure.
Does it at least have a cool death sound? Because that was one of the things about Pac-Man. It had a really good death sound.
I'd have to play another. I don't remember. I didn't play it today. I would have to play it again to know that. Okay, okay, I got the quickies out of the way, right? This is where your Google Cardboard comes home and shows you some power of what it can be, and it's called VRSE/virtual reality. So I guess it's virtual reality special edition. Vrse. I don't know. It's rated T. It's free. This is just probably a sample of 12 very large files that are made specifically for a Google Cardboard headset, and it really shows you what the possibility is there. They're kind of like movies made in a VR. They're not games. You don't really even interact a whole lot, but you're in the movie. Now, I'm going to tell you one. I've checked out a couple of them. I haven't watched all of them. One of them is actually a live filming of Saturday Night Live while they're doing the Jeopardy game. You can look around. You can see all the people who are in the audience during the filming. You can see all the cameramen, what's going on behind the scenes. and then all of the regular actors who play in the Jeopardy game.
Can you move throughout it or just turn your head and look?
You can just turn your head and look.
Yeah, so it's a 360 camera mounted somewhere.
Yes, yeah. And that's basically what these are. They're 360 cameras. The one that's really neat is called Catatonic, and it's a small, very short movie made just for this, though.
Oh, it had cats in it.
Nope, that's not it. Did I not? Let me get you the link.
It came over finally.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
My tubes must be clogged.
Could be mine. I do have the C word. But yeah, this is my favorite app to show people and to play with myself. To play with on my cardboard personally.
Woo!
I tried not to be a middle schooler there. I just couldn't do it.
You can't not do that. I would too. Yeah. Yeah. No, the cardboard's good. I like it better than the ViewMaster. It's not as heavy. It's cheaper. It works better. It's clearer.
Can you strap it on your head or do you have to hold it up?
No, you have to hold it up. It does come with a rubber band to hold your device in, but the Velcro that comes with this has held up just fine. I haven't had any problems with my phone falling out. It will not accept my phone if I have any kind of a case on it, though, because it's just too big to fit in there. But a bare Note 4 fits just fine, which is the problem I had with my original cardboard. And that's it for this round, I'd say.
Great. So, Dora, I'll let you follow up. What is your first app salvo?
Oh, okay. I'm going to bring a game, and the reason I'm bringing it is just because I think it looks good. This also reminds me of Monument Valley. I think I thought I brought one 2 weeks ago or so that I brought because I thought it was a similar style to Monument Valley, at least in some looks. So I'm bringing this one again, and my link might be slow coming over. It's called Ghost of Memories. E for everyone. Right now, $3 to buy. I will say yes, $3 is a little much to buy. And my Chrome browser does not feel like working with me right now, so I'm not able to open the video and let me show the listeners.
Chrome browser? And you got me switched to nothing but Firefox now on this thing because I was having the slow issues of Chrome.
Yeah, certain things with Chrome just do not seem to work well. So let me Control-Shift-Q, force quit it, and then restart it and quickly go through every tab to completely suck all of my bandwidth down right now. Let's see how that goes.
I'm watching the video now for this. Here, I will put a link in the chat too. If you haven't already, it hasn't come to me, but we'll throw that in there. It does look a lot like Monument Valley so far.
Yeah, I'd say to me, it's one of those style things. It just reminds me of it.
Yeah. Not E.S. Escher or whatever that guy's name was.
MC Escher.
Yeah, MC Escher.
You know, the best MC in town.
Pump it out. Boom.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, the way I say Monument Valley, top 3/4 down, movement-based puzzle game, you're walking around. But there is definitely a little bit more action, I believe, than Monument Valley. And I'm not going to say this is better than Monument Valley, because Monument Valley is almost a hallmark. It's been around so long and people are so passionate about it. But I guarantee you, if you do like Monument Valley and you look at this, you're going to be very tempted to buy it.
He's got a staff.
Well, don't all the cool people have staffs? I mean,
do you do stuff with the staff? I mean, different things? Do you hit people?
No, I don't believe you use it to attack. I believe you only use it to activate certain spots on the map.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Wow, there's a lot of different looking levels on this. This video doesn't really show up, but those other screenshots do.
Yeah, this is definitely filled with eye candy, and from what I saw, more attention to detail. I'll say, than Monument Valley with the surroundings.
I like how one of the reviewers put it is that there's good parts. There's an actual game in here. Monument Valley is an interactive movie. That's kind of like, yeah.
Okay, but I don't want to insult Monument Valley. I mean,
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, that's cool. Now, you're not playing these on your new tablet or nothing? You're just keeping that straight for business?
I'm trying to keep that more non-fun based activity focused.
Because a game like this would look good on a big screen.
I thought it looked really good on every screen, and I even did put it on the GPD handheld. I had to spend most of the time touching the screen. There wasn't an easy way I saw to use the controls with it, but it was still really visually pleasing.
The GPD still has a touch screen too, along with the controls, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Which I will still say, $150. It's about $150. If you have a child that you think is old enough to understand how to, when the game is up, pull up the configurator and drag the controls around, this is a great gift. If they're too young to have that kind of patience to do that, then this would be a colossal waste of money.
Are either of your kids old enough to figure that out? You got to be a pretty good teen, don't you, for that?
No, my oldest, I personally like to believe he's a mature 10 years old. I once in a while see him playing with the touchscreen. I tell him, "Did you configure the controller?" He's like, "Oh, I forgot." And then he hits the controller button, drags stuff around, hits save, and then he uses the controller. So he just needs to be reminded that it's there.
That's cool.
All right, so I'm going to jump in here and switch gears a little bit, and following our newfound tradition of giving priority to Patreon people to guilt you into being a Patreon person. Kanan St. Rose posted, he said, "I had no idea that the Patreon participation numbers were so low. I'm doing my part in supporting Android App Addicts. The rest of you who listen to this awesome podcast should do the same. I'm no saint either. It took Mark shaming me into donating $5. So come on, guys, let's support what we love." So what he said.
Yeah, thank you, Kanan. I'm a big fan of Kanan's too, I gotta say, because he's always posting really cool reviews of products and things online. He finds some really good stuff.
Oh yeah, it's painfully obvious he's a guy that just loves technology. To sound really cheesy, a guy after my own heart. He sees stuff, he thinks it's cool, he shares it.
Yep.
Period. And I will say, among everyone I follow, I am tempted to say he gives me among the highest percentage of cool things to click. Because some people just send out okay stuff. Some people send out stuff that makes me want to ban them, and I never see them again. But Kanan just does good, cool stuff.
I actually have a circle on Google Plus labeled "people who post too much," and you get the fader where you can see how much you want to see. I've got it down as low as it'll go on that circle.
That's a good idea, Mark.
Yes, I try to have good ideas every once in a while.
Yeah, I might have to make that circle. Can you copy and paste your list so I won't have to go through mine?
Mine are mostly tech ed pundits, so probably not the same people that you would deal with.
Okay.
I did want to say, let me interject here. What's your name? The guy, Eric, that's the one. Eric is always talking about amzreviewtrader.com. And I didn't get it. I wasn't understanding it. And so maybe other people out there are as dense as I am. Maybe I'm the only one, but just for the service of the other dummies out there, I wanted to tell you a little bit about what it is. Like I said, I wasn't getting it. So the AMZ in AMZ Review Trader is Amazon. So you go on there and you sign up and you get stuff from Amazon. And if you're a Prime member and it's available for Prime shipping, you get the free Prime shipping 2 days. And so you agree to give a review for something, and they give you a code, a discount code, coupon code that is, anywhere from, 50% to 100% off of the regular price of that thing. See, I didn't get that. Maybe he'd said that and maybe I'd heard that, but I was listening at 2.2x and missed it. So I wanted to go back and tell you, if you're an Amazon person and you're not using AMZ Review Trader, you're missing out, because literally all they're asking for is an honest review of the product. And their website is kind of wonky, and I couldn't find a mobile app for it. So it's a little hard to find what you need, but you go through there. Like, for example, I will, according to the tracking information, it should be coming to my door tomorrow, a tempered glass screen protector for my new phone.
Very good.
For $0.00. Now it's not a huge thing. Those things are only like $8 or $9 up front, but still, now it's $0.
Yeah, pretty cool.
I've got a couple of things like that coming. Some of the things aren't that big a deal, right? It's like $10 off an $80 product, but some of them are tremendous deals, and you've got to invest some time in searching in it. But the only thing they ask from you is that you give a review, and they do have to approve you. And I've had a couple of people not approve me for whatever reason. So it's not just placing an order and getting it, but I just wanted to Brett mention that I'm sort of hooked on it now. It'll pass. I'm obsessive about things, but only in for a short period of time. My current obsession is AMZ Review Trader. Every spare minute, I'm browsing that dang website.
It's addictive. Sean Johnson, Dirty Thumbs, is the one who originally turned me on to it, and it is addictive. And I've been stuck on it for quite a while now, and there's only been a couple days I haven't really checked it out. Like today, a lot of times I'm just too busy to look at it, but then I'll go, when I'm laying in bed, I'll try to catch up, on my tablet or something, and just peruse through it. You will get more opportunities to review things. The more reviews you leave, and the reviewers or the sellers or the manufacturers of the products actually will look at your reviews and see how well you do for reviewing. If you're leaving a 3-word review, you're not going to get too many more. If you give nicer reviews that explain things, add videos and pictures, especially, they really like that. I would have to say I've probably received 100 products. I would like to share this one with you. Let me take my tablet up here. I'm going to put it in front of the camera, and I don't know if you can see that, but I'm going to point my thing at there, and I can, anyway, what I'm showing is a live camera feed on my tablet from this endoscopic lighted camera with a 11-foot long cord attached to it. So when you have a 100-year-old house next door that you're about ready to demolish, and you want to see if there's anything that has ever fallen inside the wall and all the way to the bottom floor of that house, you just drill a hole in the wall rather than beating the whole floor, the whole bottom of the wall out and destroying and making a huge mess. You just put a hole in the wall and drop this camera with a light on it down there, hold your tablet up, and just watch and see if you can see anything in there. If there's something in there, then you can then tear up the wall. That's my plan for this thing.
It's also great for a hostage situation where you can just slip it under the door and see what's going on.
Yeah,
that's true too.
As soon as he showed it to me, the first thing I thought was Samuel L. Jackson movie, The Negotiator, the little thing coming up through the vent and looking around.
Yeah, I was thinking I could save a lot of money from the clinic by doing this stuff myself, but
that and a little Vaseline, you're good to go, right?
Dang. Yeah, I'll say I recently just cleared my brain of Woot.com. Something Eric really got into my bloodstream a while ago.
Ever since Amazon bought them, they haven't been the same, though.
Well,
I haven't used
it doesn't matter. I still have to avoid them like the plague because it's dangerous. It's a dangerous website. I mean, no matter what, it's dangerous. This website is something I keep telling myself, I don't need it. But I know I'm going to. It's a matter of time. Now, here's my only question, Eric.
Yes.
Do you think, based upon your reviews, when you log in, you would see different products available to you versus me?
When I log into that or Amazon? Into that? No, I don't believe so.
So you believe everyone sees the same? It's just a question of will you be approved or not?
Yeah, it's not a very sophisticated website yet. I think
a whole lot of mail enhancement products?
There's a lot of pharmaceutical type supplements, and I'm not ever going to try any of those from there. And also, you got to think in the back of your mind. When I first started on, there was a lot of adult products on there, and I don't see that on there so much. Probably because they had a hard time because you have to leave a review within 10 days of the product.
So what happens if you don't? Do they revoke your coupon and send you a bill?
No, they said they'll just not let you order anything from there or apply for coupons. Now, there have been items I've taken more than 10 days to review for whatever reason. Sometimes I'll order something for another family member, and I'll wait for their review of it so I can give them an honest review. One time I had a solar-powered floodlight and an antenna, and I just had to find a good day to climb up on my roof and mount a couple things, to the roof, and I couldn't do that within 10 days for whatever reason, because of weather and didn't have a ladder, things like that. So and they didn't ban me. And the more reviews you give, the more items you can have like checked out at once, I guess, like a library system sort of. At first they'll only give you like 3 items at a time. I think I'm up to I can have 140 review units in my possession without leaving one review now, after giving so many reviews now. And I have given some bad reviews, that's for sure, because a lot of this stuff is straight China. The even on the endoscope box, it's a great amount of Chinglish on here, because it says, "See what you can't see and touch." It is a newest Android camera. Throughout the distribution can be used the PC. And
Wow.
it says it's HD, but it also says that it's like 680 by 480 or 600 by 480 HD or something like that.
Oh.
I haven't plugged this into you do get better resolution if you plug it into a PC. And I did leave the link in there. It's only $24 normally. I think I paid $7 maybe for it. I think it's worth it. Something to play with.
I just know when I go to the website and browse AMZ Review Trader, I see just junk that I don't want.
Well, you can sort it by price low to high. I always do newest things first. That's how I go about it. But if you go from price high to low, then you can probably see some of the nicer things. Yeah, there's a lot of junk on there. Like, there's tons of phone cases. If you have an iPhone and you want to just fill your bedroom wall with cases for it, you could probably do that and never pay a dime, including shipping.
I'm seeing some interesting Android HTPC type devices.
Yeah, they had a stick on there the other day that I thought was kind of neat. But I'm not as brave as you are when it comes to buying these Android products that aren't, I don't know, fully baked in my eyes. I don't know.
What I can tell though is the regular Amazon return policy and all that still applies. So, yes. the 2-year factory warranty, whatever. It's still the same product with all the same thing. It's just a coupon code that they give you. So it's essentially they're sending you a gift card. So that makes me feel a little more comfortable because Amazon is really good about not sticking you with something you didn't want.
Yeah, I did have a light that I threw away the box too fast and it didn't hold up. I don't remember if I've returned anything really though too much.
Yeah. You guys might suck me into this universe sooner or later. I will say
that. I think the hardest part about doing the whole thing is getting your Amazon profile. They kind of tell you how to do it though. So,
yes, I've never left a review on Amazon, and I don't have a picture in my profile. I don't have anything. So that may be why some of the people are rejecting me. But I've been a customer of Amazon for a decade. So maybe that counts for something. I don't know. I think I may have mentioned it on this show. I bloviate so much on various podcasts. I can't remember where I've said what. I never buy a review, a product without looking at the reviews, but I've never left a review. and I need to fix that. I need to go start leaving reviews. This is going to force me to do it.
So you're the Steve Trevino of Amazon, because he wouldn't cook anything. He would go to a million places and order food, but he wouldn't cook it. So that's how you're like Steve. You would buy stuff from Amazon and base your buying on reviews, yet not leave a review.
And honestly, I wouldn't have left too many reviews unless it was negative. Usually, just to warn people of this thing or that. There were a couple, I guess. There were a couple things that I'm like, wow, this was a great value. If this ever breaks, I'm buying another one exactly like it because this is cool. And I would share that sometimes.
So I rationalize that in a number of different ways. Usually I say, well, the things that I bought already have thousands of reviews. That's why I bought them. One more won't matter. It's not like I'm doing anybody a great service. But at the same time, I am a big believer in the sharing economy, and I'm sort of being hypocritical when I myself don't share.
Well, you believe other people should share.
Yes. It's very important that you share with me.
And if you think that this is some kind of a scam and we're just writing up good reviews for junk products, you do have to, at the end of every review you leave using this system or this thing, you do have to let them know at the end of your review, yes, I was offered this at a discount for an honest review. And you should just give an honest review because it's good to be honest.
If they don't mind bad reviews, I'm tempted to do this and only leave video reviews.
They would love
you. That would be a problem.
They would love that.
Okay.
And I mean, Amazon even lets you link to a YouTube review. So
well, it will be YouTube. There's no doubt about that.
You just stream it up to a Hangout and give them a link.
Exactly. I'm too lazy to do anything else.
And recently, I just got invited to another review site, which is, you think this is kind of a rudimentary, hard to navigate site. This other one, I can't even remember the name of it off the top of my head because I haven't found anything on there I wanted to review yet. But it's really like day 2 kind of thing for them. Like they just hired a full-time help in September. That's how new it is. So if that one ends up panning out, I will definitely share it.
So with this glass screen protector that I've got, my intention is to grab like a drill bit because the picture on the box shows you using a drill bit. I'm going to do it. I'm going to see if
put it on your phone and use the drill bit
before I put it on my phone.
Oh. I've got a free AMZ Review Trader tempered glass screen protector, and it's been perfect.
I heavily encourage you, Mark. If you have a old quote unquote useless phone, put it on that. Because they might try to say, well, with the extra support, something flat behind it makes it drill proof.
You're going to want to have it mounted to something.
Right. No, I'm not going to like drill through. I'm just going to lay it on a flat first surface and try to scratch it. That's, in my opinion, that's what the purpose of a screen protector. It's not to stop a rock on a parking lot from going through it. It's to keep it from getting scratched. All right, before we go too far down this rabbit hole door, save us by giving us another app.
Okay, well, but first I'll say, what has 3 holes and goes down an alley? And Batman cries and says, "My parents." No, it's only a bowling ball. Okay, this app I'm going to bring because it's unique in its delivery. Okay, called Fast Like a Fox. If you look at the game, you can watch the video. There's not a lot to this game. This is a quote unquote endless runner game. For everyone. Pretty sure completely free. It does have in-app purchases. What makes this game different is you have to tap the back of your phone to provide movement to the character.
Oh.
Which I honestly love that just because it frees up the screen so I can see the entirety of it and I'm not covering it with my fingers. So in theory, I love the idea.
But normally an endless runner game, you don't have to do anything to move your guy.
Well, this isn't really an endless runner per se. This is more of a platforming stage because everything is stage driven where the stages, at least in the beginning, are not very long. They might be 20 seconds long because how long can you tap before your fingers get tired? You know what I mean?
You stop and hang out for a while then?
If you stop tapping, you stop moving.
Okay.
And I will say with a case, it definitely makes it harder to register the taps. So with the case, it was not moving that much. I took the case off and I was tapping my phone. I was moving a heck of a lot more. I'm a fan of this style of art. I thought it was very good. Dare I say there's like some Mode 7-esque graphics that happen where it gives it a little bit of depth to the game. But I just liked it because functionally it was a little bit different.
It's clever.
Great idea. Yeah.
I may be too lazy to tap my phone though.
A drum machine turned up really fast tempo, sitting right next to your phone you'd probably just rock it then.
Right. See, I would get like my wife's back massager, the vibrating back massager, and put it on that, and then I would just rock the game.
Well, and I'll say this. It took me a second to realize what was causing it to register. The clicks were registered. And it can't be the magnetometer, of course. Can't be the compass. Can't be the microphone either. So it has to be the gyroscope measuring those small movements that happen when you tap is what I'm going to say.
Basic accelerometer. Good stuff.
Yeah. So if you want to either watch your kids go crazy tapping, or if you just want to experience a different style of game, I heavily encourage you to download and try Fast as a Fox from Fingersoft, which I'll say their company name is.
All right, Eric, what have you got in your next batch?
I have an app. Now, I've had this app for a long time. Okay, it's called Beneath the Lighthouse. And I wanted to play it and bring it to the show. So I tried it on my tablet, and I could not figure it out. I'm like, what is this game even doing? Turns out it doesn't run on the Nexus 7 2012 version. I had my wife installed on the 2013 version, and it works like a charm. And it totally made sense. I was just guessing where things were happening on mine. Things just didn't show up for whatever reason. I mean, I'm not on Android 5.0 or newer, so that could be part of it. It seems like a lot of apps need 5.0 or newer suddenly. So that could have been part of it. But basically what this game is like kind of like one of those puzzles that you'd buy at a gift shop, that you got to roll the ball around a little bit and get it into the hole. But this is an animated little, puff ball, and you have to roll him around, and you do it by spinning a circle, and it's kind of like gravity. He'll fall over if you roll him off the edge, and you got to maneuver him to get to the other end of the puzzle, basically. I don't know if that helped.
Well, this looks like the perfect standing in line game.
It's one of them. Yes.
Well, the only question I have is, what in the hell does this gameplay have to do with the lighthouse?
It's round.
Yeah, maybe this is what's going on underneath the ground under the lighthouse.
Everything is round, so it's a top-down view of a labyrinth inside a lighthouse.
Well, I know, but the lighthouse is round where gravity doesn't work how this game does. This would be closer to being called Inside the Sub or something.
Yeah, you're right. The lighthouse would have to be laying on its side.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's a good looking game. I really do like the look of it. I like the idea of it, the concept of it. You start on one end, gravity's pulling you down. You have to rotate the entire screen around to
sort
not
of
die.
Hello Kitty-esque graphics.
Okay, now I don't like the graphics.
No, I can't say that it's underground either, because randomly birds fly by, too. So I don't know. I don't know where that comes from.
Beneath, above, sideways to the lighthouse.
Rated E, everyone 10 plus. Free with in-app purchases.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what those are for. Probably extra levels or something.
Extra birds.
I didn't buy them.
All right, so I will move on now and read another message. This is an older one, and I'll say that's my fault for not seeing it. From Todd Evans. He posted on our Patreon page, said, "Hey, Dor, while I have a lot of on my plate in terms of my wife's recovery from a stroke, spending 44 days in the hospital, having to move out of the house I was renting, and having quit my job to care for my wife, I absolutely get value from you guys every week. I not only enjoy the information you share, but I feel like I have come to know you all pretty well. I could definitely put all of you in the category of would like to have a beer with. Of all the things that I've severed ties with in the recent weeks, Android App Addicts stands out as the one thing I just can't do without. I hope more listeners will hop on board and give you guys the support you deserve. Keep up all the great work. One caveat, I miss Steve C's audio editing."
So do we. Is Todd Evans? Is that who that was?
Yeah.
Man, I would so have a beer with you, Todd. Absolutely.
I'm going to say right now, I feel guilty taking anything from Todd, taking time away from his day to write an email kind of thing, or the Patreon things he does, which I'm extremely thankful for, but I almost honestly, to a degree, feel guilty. Todd, by far, I salute you. Number one, I wish I lived closer to you, because if you needed help with stuff, which I think you might, I would be more than happy to help.
Yeah.
You're a hell of a guy, Todd. That's all I'm going to say. And whenever I'm out by you, I will buy you steak dinner. You don't buy me anything. I buy you steak dinner.
And just an update, because I know I would be concerned after having read that yesterday. He sent us an email. Says, "Hey guys, my wife is finally out of the hospital and into a rehab facility. It's been 58 days as of now, but she's making a miraculous recovery. Maybe it's good karma that comes from being a Patreon monthly donation." Anyway, I've been using the hospital and rehab facility's Wi-Fi for nearly 2 months, all day, every day. And while I've thus far been able to avoid doing any sensitive computing like banking, etc., I know there will be a time when I need to. I came across a review of your Viper VPN, a review of Viper VPN, and found myself interested. Just wanted to hear your thoughts on it before I dive in. If you have a different app to recommend, I'm all ears. Keep up the awesome shows. Battery 51%, Todd Evans.
Yeah, well, I'll say first off, she's in recovery, fantastic. She's in rehab, fantastic. Be next to her as much as possible. That's when people need support.
Absolutely.
The hospital is great, don't get me wrong, fantastic. But rehab can be the hardest thing, especially after a stroke. I've had too many family members suffer, right? And that rehab is very important. The more she puts into it right now, the more tenfold it's going to pay off in the future. So this is a really important time, and an important time where you don't have to worry about your connectivity to sensitive places like banks or banks. You know, Viper. Most of the VPNs out there that are available on Android, I feel pretty confident that they're fine. They're fine. There's very few ones that I consider to be beyond fine and actually good. First off, I use the only VPN I feel like I can trust, which is my Raspberry Pi, and I have OpenVPN running on it. Now, if you want, you can even load an old Android device with Servers Ultimate and load your own VPN client there and use that as well. But if you want to use a third party, there's only two I feel comfortable with giving my seal of approval to. One is ProXPN, which is the one that Steve Gibson got them to change their policies to be better. They now officially keep no log files of anything for any length of time. You can pick what your exit node is all over the world, and it's very safe. I'll say that, but it is U.S. based, so I'm not sure how safe it is. The other one is private internet access. All of my Linux weenie paranoid friends exclaim how this is one of the very few VPNs that you can trust because they're not in the United States, which means the NSA or the federal government cannot lean on them to get special access or special privilege into their network, at least not directly.
What's that one called again?
Private internet access. And they often have deals on private internet access where you can buy 6 months plus worth for like $2 a month. but you just have to be aware of the deals and keep an eye out for them, kind of thing.
Interestingly, when I try to go to ProXPN on my Chrome browser, it gives me a security exception.
Well, that's definitely scary.
The identity of this website has not been verified. Server certificate does not match the URL.
Did you spell it right? I don't know how you spell pro wrong.
Okay. It's OpenDNS getting in the way. All right, never mind.
Right. So those are the two I feel encouraged to promote. The Viper one I think is fine. I'll say that again. It's fine. If it's a fair price, go ahead and go for it. I don't think you have to technically overly worry about it.
I installed the Viper one.
My issue with the Pi thing, running things on your own network is always going to be preferable because you control everything. And if you trust yourself, then you're good. But the problem with that is that you're only as fast as your upload speed. And most of us on, home networks, that's not awesome.
Well, and you're putting another level of trust in your ISP. If you do not really want your ISP to have your complete identity, then you don't want to host it yourself.
Yeah. So that's why I would do, in fact, I have a ProXPN. I tried their trial account. Trial account is terrible by design. It's like a 48K connection. It's really slow. But it's just the idea to try it. So the ProXPN is, or the, what's the other one you said, Dor? IP?
Private
internet.
Private internet. That's the way I would go, just because that's a company whose job is to have bandwidth. But if you got good solid bandwidth at your house and you trust your provider, it's fine. So Dor, the Raspberry Pi can handle the encoding and decoding well enough for you?
I definitely notice it's not quote unquote full speed compared to what I have, even when I'm only on LTE on my phone. So I definitely know that it's a little bit slower. But when I do certain things on my device, I don't mind.
Can you give a quick sketch of what this this topic's about? So you've got on your Raspberry Pi, if somebody's on their wireless mobile data, it's going back to your, if you're on your wireless mobile data, it's going back to your house, to your Raspberry Pi, and then out to the internet then, that way?
Yeah. If you're at a Starbucks or a McDonald's or a hospital, and the only way you can get reliable internet access is through their Wi-Fi. And you don't have to enter a password. This is the kicker. And if you don't have to enter a password, that means everyone who's connecting to that wireless access point can see all of your traffic. Now, when you do HTTPS, they see an encrypted tunnel, but they know where you're going. They know the IP address of where you're going, and anything that's not secured. So by using a VPN, when you're at any of those sites, you initiate a secure tunnel to the end of that VPN. So everything transmitted on that local wireless is secure. The end point for me is my house. So it goes through McDonald's, over the internet, down through my ISP, onto my Raspberry Pi, becomes decrypted, then goes out to the public internet as it normally would. With the paid services, you can have your endpoint in Germany, in the UK, in Japan, Australia, wherever you want. And a lot of people use those. So, because if you want to watch Doctor Who the day after it comes out, then you have your endpoint be the UK. Then you can watch Doctor Who for free the next day.
Gotcha. I think when we talk VPNs, people's eyes might glaze over a little bit until. But and people are interested in this stuff because they know how they're, those guys are out there. You talked about it a few weeks back with the Wi-Fi pineapple.
Yeah.
And it up until very recently, you required root to do most VPNs, but Android latest version of KitKat, I think they took that away. So now apps can access that directly.
Right. And I do believe all three of the apps we mentioned, Viper, public internet access and Pro XBN gives you the ability, if you want, to launch an application and exclude it from the VPN. So you can say, I want all this traffic to go through my secure tunnel, except for this one thing. Because maybe there is something you need to access on that local wireless network. So those options you get with VPN now on Android are far better than it was even 2 years ago.
Nice.
All right, so that was sort of an email and an app and a lecture all in one. So let's, Eric, have you got anything else left in your tank?
My tank is empty, sir.
All right, so Doris, send us out with a good one.
Okay, what I'm going to bring here, it's one of those things I really need other people to tell us what they think about it. I am personally very hopeful. Okay, this is called Perch, Simple Home Monitoring, completely free, no in-app purchases. What this allows you to do is basically it allows you to turn your Android device into a home monitoring security type device. I've had more than a couple friends take old computers, install home server software, can never remember the name of it, and connect webcams up to it, and then allow them to set up monitoring alerts and view their cameras from the outside. This is the same basic kind of thing, only you're using your Android device. So you can take your old Android device, install this application to it, leave it in your house with the camera on, plugged in for battery, and you basically have yourself a portable security device you can move anywhere around your house and access from anywhere in the world to see what's going on from anywhere.
And you can communicate back to it from what I can see in the video here.
Yeah, you can activate the mic or the screen on it, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that means you have to trust Perch. So, and I've never heard of this company before. I'll say it makes horrible business sense for them to ruin that relationship up front. So I expect them to be a very well-behaved company for some length of time. I expect them to go out of their way to make sure things are secure for a length of time. And I expect them to do nothing mischievous or bad to any customer for a length of time.
And it is in beta, so expect this to suddenly become a paid app before too long.
If
you agent.
Yeah, and if it really is of a higher quality, you should pay for it. I will say that.
Yeah, this is something I tried to set this up on an iPod, an old iPod. It wasn't Perch itself; it was another one that did the similar thing. I just wanted to catch the guy who was leaving beer cans on the trail behind my house, and I never did get around to getting it out there because I couldn't get the Wi-Fi out to the forest well enough to make it happen. But yeah, I was just gonna tape it up with some camouflage tape to a tree with a huge battery pack, and just let it sit out there and broadcast for a couple days. Leave the screen off so it shouldn't use too much battery.
Right. Yeah, I hope these apps get better over time because I do think there's a large business for them, dare I say, where more and more needed as time goes on.
And we all, the geeks especially, have multiple devices laying around, right? So it's probably a crappy camera, but it's got a camera on it, right? And it's probably not great Wi-Fi, but I've got 4 tablets and 3 phones that I could put this on right now. It says it's available anything above Android 4.1, so it doesn't need the latest and greatest.
Yeah, I don't think I have any extra devices like that I could do it, but
no, I say I've got tablets with cracked screens, right? But that doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah,
they work. True. I've got phones with where the batteries are shot, but I could plug them into a power supply. So yeah, I've got drawers full of stuff that I could use this for.
I love repurposing things.
Right.
That's great.
Well, I'm going to throw out one more app, Mark, and it's only because you might find it beneficial. Built into Android, I believe Lollipop, 5.0 or higher, there is a battery saver mode built into the OS itself. The problem is it's a little bit painful to get to it. You literally, most of the time, need 3 or more clicks to get to it. This takes that functionality and you can put it as a widget, a 1x1 widget on one of your home screens. It's called Toggle Battery Saver 5.0. Unfortunately, it is $3. It is E for everyone, but I will tell you, on newer Android devices, you click this one time and it will immediately put your phone in battery saver mode. And the battery saver mode that's in Lollipop, it can literally take what could be an hour's worth of battery and extend it to multiple hours of battery, like 4
Which
plus hours
automatically
battery.
kicks in when your phone gets down to 15%.
Depends on the phone, but yes. Right, yeah. With this, you can initiate when you want. You don't have to wait for the battery to go down.
Right. But you're making some significant trade-offs. Like, for example, in order to save battery, it cuts off the radios. So your phone's not a phone anymore. And it does a few other things like that. Which it's fine. The only problem for my Moto X is I'd have to turn the screen on to use it, and that would kill the remainder of my battery.
Well, with this battery saver mode, it does not turn off your LTE nor your voice connection. What it does, though, is it basically kills every background process instantly.
And cuts Bluetooth down to a polling service instead of a constant. Yeah, it's a neat idea if you and that's the reason it kicks in on most phones at 15%. You just got to get home.
Right.
You just need some phone for emergencies for the next couple of hours. Yeah, it's fine. I think it's a great idea to turn it on. But you just got to realize that when you do this, you're seriously crippling your phone. If that's okay with you, you need basic functionality for an extended period of time. This is for you.
Yeah, and I'll say there is probably some people out there, the second they unplug their phone from the charger at 100%, would still find the phone completely usable by turning this on. But
Yes.
that is probably 1% of the user base out there.
Installs 1 to 5. Updated November 1st. So this is a new thing. We're bringing it to you hot off the presses.
Yeah.
Mark, I hope that there's a firmware update that just cuts half your pixels off soon,
It's not as bad as I'm making it out to be. It's you get 9 to 10 hours, but I work a 16-hour day. 9 to 10 hours isn't enough. Plain and simple.
9 to 10 ain't enough for me, and I only work 8 hours a day.
And I'm right in between the two of you.
Yeah, because I don't want to come home and have to charge it immediately. I want to come home, relax, check up on my Google Plus, see what kind of worthless things happened on Facebook, and then plug it up.
See, I'm rarely away from a charger ever. So my phone's never has to even. It doesn't even usually know it has a battery, except for when I'm walking to and from my car, I think.
Yeah, so on my Nexus 5, which had a much worse battery, because of the Qi charging, it wasn't a big deal because wherever I was, I could just drop it on the charger. But now, because this is such a big battery, it almost doesn't charge at all connected to just a regular USB port. Its trickle charge is a generous description of it. So I had to go buy 2.5 amp chargers to plug into it minimum. And so it's just, I'm whining, and I know I'm whining, but I want you out there, if you're considering buying this phone, just know what it is. When you get that hot processor and high resolution screen, you pay a price for it.
Oh yeah. And like the classic rock group said, you can't always get what you want.
Right.
But if you try sometime, you just might find you get what you need. I say that just to confuse my kids sometimes. And it's a good time killer.
All right. I think that's going to wrap it up. Any last words of wisdom from either of you before we say goodnight?
Todd, God bless you, brother. I really wish you lived closer. Period.
Yeah. Thank you for the kind words, Todd, and everybody else who's been emailing lately. We appreciate you guys listening to us, and the feedback is great to hear from you. And we actually heard from somebody from Iowa, so kind of a neighbor for me here in the Midwest. That's nice too.
I will say this, taking after Dora, I will say this. The telling us how much you like the show is great. Warm fuzzies all around. tell other people how much you like the show. That helps us grow.
Yes.
So yeah, it's nice that you sent us an email. Now forward that same email to 100 of your closest friends.
Right. And I'll just preface what I said earlier with one last thing. The support from Todd before any of this traumatic thing happened in his life was great. Was
Yep.
in the top in the top 1% of the people who listen to the show. So I already owed Todd much thanks, great thanks from before. It's just finally catching up. That's all.
All right. So I can't think of a better time to say goodnight than on those warm words. Dor, Eric, thank you for being the great hosts that you are. Thank you for letting me hang out with you once again. You, the listener, we thank you for your listening, for your patronage on patreon.com, for spreading the word, and mostly just thank you for being